Welcome to the Earthling EDC channel. My name is Phil, and today I've got something kind of unusual for you. So on August 11th, I had produced a video, and in that video, I had mentioned that I had built out a tuna fish can survival kit, pretty much based on a can very similar to this one. And a couple viewers had said, Phil, why don't you redo that? So this was built when I was 11 or 12. I am currently 63. So I'm trying to, well, I hopefully did. So here it is. Took this can, one similar to this, cleaned it out, took the lid off, loaded it up with gear, got this plastic top, which is very similar to the one that I had at the time, except it was clear. And I'm going to go through this. So a couple things I want to be sure that you understand here. This is not a kit that I would build today. This is a kit that I remember building when I was 11 or 12 years old in the early 70s as a Cub Scout. It was a project that we did with the Cub Scouts. I would go out almost every other weekend and we would be camping, and it was a concentration of the Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts at the time to do wilderness experience type things and survival kits and all kinds of neat projects. So that's what this is based on. This is based on that time period, who I was at that time. There's some strange things in here. There are some things that you would expect as well. It was a neat project at the time. I had a blast putting this thing together to show you guys. I think you're going to enjoy this. I hope you stick around. See you in a bit. All right, so this is a Bumblebee solid white tuna albacore can, low sodium. And this is a standard can. It hasn't changed much, I don't think, since the early 70s. So I took this can, cleaned it out, and got this. So this is everything we're going to go through here. This is the can completely cleaned out. Everything's been cleaned out of it. Nice, perfect for using for heating up things if you wanted to. So this would be using as a heating element or as a cup, for any number of purposes. And that's the one advantage of having this can is that you can use it for cooking. So we'll put this aside here. That's the plastic lid that comes with it. You can buy those separately. They were common back in the 70s to recover cans with lids if you wanted to. People use it now for this is the same size as a catfish as a cat food can. So that would be a pet can top. So I'll have it listed in the PDF for this video so you can take a look at it. But yeah, steel, it works, will probably work very well. So first thing over here, 3 Band-Aids. Something they fit in the bottom of the can, nice and flat. So I love them for that purpose. I get the largest ones possible. I think I remember 3 Band-Aids before in the one when I was a kid. Probably the branding has changed somewhat on it, but yeah, 3 Band-Aids. Okay, no fancy fire starters for me. It was a matchbook. So this is a tartan. Yeah, this is a very vintage, if anything else. So I think this is from my father-in-law. I found it amongst his old tools. But yeah, so what I did was I took this, and I remember putting this into some kind of a plastic container so I could close it shut with tape. So it was semi-waterproof, but in this case, I've got these little pouches from Walgreens that I used instead of wrapping plastic around them. So just think of it that way. But this is definitely what I had in there. It was just a book of matches. So next up, so this is the lid that we're using. There are 4 little sheets of paper here that I would use with the pencil here. I have to hold it up a little bit. And I've also got a compass. And then we've got, let me put this back down. Now, the reason for the cap here, I could probably sharpen this with the knife that we've got here, but you could also put this in here, and if you have tape around the end like this, it actually protects the tip on this, which is nice. The other thing about a pencil that's nice, other than taking notes, is that you can make some kindling out of this if you need to. If you need to shave it with your knife and use it as a fire starter, that would be ideal. So that's another option for this. So besides just being a nice pencil to use, again, you would pop this on the back like this, and it gives you a little bit longer to use. So that's the purpose for this extender here. Actually, I just did a piece on making a regular Bic pen into an EDC, a small compact EDC, almost with the same type of design, where you take the protector and you put it in the back like that so that it holds better. But yeah, for the purposes of having a pencil, this is ideal. So pencil, button compass. This isn't a very good button compass. It's more here for just to show that I've got a button compass in here, and the lid, and then the 4 sheets of paper on the bottom that are cut to size. Okay, here we go. 36 inches of cord. This is probably, I think, this is nylon cord for sure. So something equivalent of this would have been in there. I think I had some heavy nylon twine. So pretty much the same thing, just wouldn't have been this bright color. But 36 inches is what's there. This is where it gets a little interesting. So at the time, again, I'm a kid. I used a GOW bulb with basically like this. So a GOW bulb was grain of wheat bulb that was used in modeling, like train models and things like that, for making little lights on your train. This is an LED bulb. I couldn't find a local GOW supplier, so I made it this way. So it's just 2 batteries that are taped together. There's a connector in the back on the bottom here that takes these 2. So I've got the positive here and the negative here. I just soldered this on here. I was a soldering maven when I was 11, 12. My dad was an engineer, so he encouraged that kind of thing, and I'm thanking him for it now. But yeah, this is a very simple light setup here. It works just as brightly, I found, as a regular flashlight. So here's a little regular flashlight. This flashlight's got 3 buttons in it, 3, I think 1.5 buttons in it. It's an LED, but this one is brighter than this one, which I find amazing. So plus you've got these 2 AAAs that are attached to each other. So this is kind of a cool way to, it's a really simple design. You got a nice little long-lasting flashlight. Probably, I bet it would go probably over a day continuous if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but yeah, you could hook that up, and you could hook it up with the cord. You can make yourself a little lamp if you want, hang it. So this gives you all kinds of interesting options to work with. This is very simple. It's a nice, you could probably immerse this in water and not have to really worry about it. It's a nice solid little unit. So that's my light source alternative. And that's what I did when I was little, except it was a GOW instead of an LED. I don't think there were LEDs around at that time. These would have been water tablets. They usually taste terrible. These don't taste terrible. These are more contemporary modern ones, 1 tab. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess 8, 9, 10 in here. So yeah, definitely bring these along. I think it's 1 tab per half gallon. And I think I've got a quart bag here, of plastic bag for carrying water. And there's a smaller bag in here too. So this would be used for carrying water, then using the tabs to purify the water in the bag. We could also boil water, doing it a little bit at a time in this, if you want to, and letting it cooled off in here, and then pouring it into the bag. That would be purified water as well. But the tabs are, I remember having the tabs, I can't remember what chemical it was. Iodine tabs? I think that was it. And it tasted terrible, but you drank it anyway, so this is water purification tabs. So plastic bags, again, there's 2 of them in here. There's a quart bag here, and then there is a smaller bag inside. It's like a sandwich bag. I don't remember having Ziplocs. I'm not going to say that we had Ziplocs, but it was 2 bags. I remember sandwich bags on the inside. So there's a small sandwich bag in here, and then a larger bag on the outside. Now this bag will stand up vertically too. I think I used a garbage bag. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a bathroom garbage bag type thing. You could fold it up very small, tight, and it worked really well. And for this purpose, it's good for carrying water. And that's all I wanted to do, is have it carry water if necessary. And then use the purification tablets with it. Okay, this is where it got a little weird. So 2 chicken bouillon cubes. So these got salt in them. You can make yourself a hot beverage with your little tin cup here. Drop 1 of these into it. Add some water, maybe some, I don't know, anything else that you could find that you wanted to cook up, and you could have yourself if nothing else, just some, chicken broth, nice and hot, salty. It's going to replenish you. So very simple little thing to carry. And having some hot food is sometimes, when you're really in a bad situation, it can be very, very helpful, clearing your mind. So yeah, those two. And then jelly beans. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got 9 jelly beans in here. I remember doing jelly beans before. It's either jelly beans or hard candies. The purpose, again, is just to kind of have something to kind of uplift you a little bit, little sugar taste in your mouth. Again, if you're in a bad situation and you want to clear up your mind a little bit, having something that's that was my thought at the time too. Just something that you like, that just makes you feel good. This can help a lot psychologically, as well as, just, I don't know. There's something about sometimes a candy or a hot beverage or something like that that can really help just clarify things for you. And when I was a kid, I thought jelly beans would be the one to do that, and then the hot broth would be good too. And I could probably use this if I caught a fish or something, and make myself some fish soup. They might be helpful. So that was pretty much the total of the food that was brought in here, but it's mostly for mental purposes, I think, than anything else. Okay, I think I've got, this is a tin foil. This is multiple piece, one piece. I think this is, let me see here, 18 by 18. I think that's about right. So it's about a foot and a half by a foot and a half, all folded over to this size. So this could be used for cooking. This could be used as a protection against wind. If you have a fire, you could put this around the outside of the fire. It folds up very nicely, gets very small. I use this again in the bottom of the tin, so I'd have the Bandaids under here, and then a couple of other objects under here with this on top of it, and then the rest of the stuff would go on top of that. So it's nice to have aluminum foil. I could also use it with the flashlight that I made, that little homemade flashlight, to keep it on full time, so I don't have to press down the top like that. So this gives you a number of options. A reflector would be great. You can use this as a reflector. You can use this. It's got any number of purposes. So it's nice to have aluminum foil available to you. Okay. All right. The crappy Chinese pocket knife. I had one from a flea market in Santa Barbara. There was one at the airport that they would have every Sunday that I would go to. I was really, I loved going to that thing. This is not the one that I had, but I had one available, and I'm putting this in there for that use. So I got a can opener on here. I don't think I'm going to need a can opener. If I do, I've got it. I got a little pair of scissors. These work pretty decently. The blade is decently sharp. I would be definitely using that for, maybe making legal shavings for fires. I've got a little poker for making holes in things. An awl, you can call it that, or a pick, or whatever. Looks like it's got a file on here too. So it's a pretty basic pocket knife. Nothing fancy here. But yeah, that's what I had. Very similar to this one, in fact. Okay, here we go. Safety pins and a paper clip. I also have a needle and thread on here, which could be used in an extreme case for sewing up something, a wound perhaps. Some nylon thread on here, gray, very simple basic stuff. Just things that might come in handy for any numerous different purposes. Again, very basic. Little fishing kit. I've got 20 feet of 4-pound test fishing line, 2 very small, I got a minnow lure here, 2 split shot leads in here, and then another very small lure with a micro little tiny. I can't imagine catching any huge fish. Small fish is probably where the majority of streams you'd find where this would be handy. I know in Santa Barbara there's a couple places in the back hills that you can get some trout out of a stream if you needed to. But yeah, this is a very, very basic kit. You'd probably have worms with this, but you might get something with lures as well just by themselves. Hook it up to a stick. I think you'd be okay, I guess. If you're nearby the ocean, you might be able to get some shiners or something like that. But yeah, very, very basic kit. 20 feet of 4-pound test. And then let's go over here. Got a small whistle. I had one like this. This is definitely not the one I had. This is the one that I've had. The one I had was plastic. I remember that. This thing is a screamer, though. If you're looking for a loud whistle that's very small and compact, this thing is really loud. Anyway, but the one I had was similar to this in shape, but it was plastic and it was loud as well. But this is sticking for that. So yeah, nice small loud whistle. And then a small candle. This is a birthday candle. This is a larger birthday candle. It's good for like a sustained flame if you want to for a while. You could also use it for a light source. It's not going to last that long. I think you'd probably get, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes out of this thing at the most. But a sustained flame would be good too if you have something going and you want to move a flame to another location without losing a match. This would probably be handy for that. So yeah, candle. All right. And then the can itself. Again, I would be using this probably for cooking if I needed to. It's a small pot. You could use it to transfer water into the plastic bags we have here, but it's going to give multiple purposes. It's more like almost like a Sierra cup, as they used to use back in my time. I don't know if they still use Sierra cups now, but this would be kind of a easy, and you'd have to pick this thing up probably with a cloth or something on the outside. We used to have a little grabbing tool to grab like that, but if I don't have yeah, if I don't have that with me, then would be a cloth to grab this. But yeah, I like the design of this by itself. And then it's got the top, the plastic top pops right on top of it. So that's about it. It's a very simple setup. As you can see, there's nothing fancy here. It's a very basic things to kind of help you through maybe a day or two. Hopefully, you'd be out of a jam. It can help you out of a jam, and everything here I think is pretty solid. And for a 12-year-old, 11-year-old to put together, I remember spending a lot of time on getting these elements in place. The one I was proudest about was this flashlight. I thought that was great that I could make something so small and fit into the container. I remember at the time you could get AA flashlights. They were about this long, but it was too big for the case for what I wanted. So I used the AAAs plus the GOW bulb. They were set up differently though. I think I had it, instead of in series, it was in parallel. I can't remember. But the batteries would have been split the other way because it was 1.5 volt for the GOW. This is a 3 volt. So I'm taking the 1.5, 1.5, adding them together. And that's why that LED is lighting up with 3 volts. So yeah, I kind of like it. This is a pretty good, I think, simulation of what I had. So anyway, any comments, stick them down in the comment section below. I'm going to now assemble this thing. So if you want to stick around, I'll do a quick time lapse and we'll take it from there. See you in a bit. So this was a really fun project to do. I thoroughly enjoyed spending the time getting everything together for this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm convinced at this point that building out this project 50 years ago with the Cub Scouts is part of the reason why I'm doing these now, these pocket racks. So this is kind of one of these things, which is a survival kit. This is not a survival kit, this is just a tool set, but having these tool sets in place and available to me and to be able to fix things is kind of an offshoot of putting all these things together and fixing a problem that you may be having out in the wilderness as a kid. So yeah, that's what happens. When you're a kid, you evolve to something like this, which I think is a little weird, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with a friend. Definitely share it with a friend. Sharing, I think, is the best thing you could do, more so than subscribing or anything else. Just share it around. I appreciate that so much. And thanks for stopping by today. Hope to see you again. Take care.